Hey everyone, Steve G here for Chef Knives to Go with another quick look product review. And what we have this time is the Harukaze Awagami, or blue number 2, Mune Damascus Gyuto 210mm knife. So this has a lot going on to it. It's a really nice knife, really cool look to it, and also nice performance. So this one is composed of all reactive materials, so it's a soft iron cladding over each side of a Awagami or blue paper number 2 reactive high carbon steel. That blue number 2 will take a screaming sharp edge. It's got a pretty decent heat treat around 62 Rockwell, maybe 63, depending on the maker, but typically around 62, and that gives it some good edge retention. But it's super easy to sharpen. It'll get stinking sharp if you do your part. But it's all reactive. There's no stainless or semi-stainless on this, so treat it accordingly. The edge length is about 215, or a little oversized on this one, or about 8.5 inches. Overall length about 352 millimeters, or about 13.8.9. And then height's about 49.4, so it's pretty tall, 210 Gyuto. Spine thickness, it thins out. It's got almost a perfect example of a distal taper. You don't get too many knives like this. So let's show you just the classic distal taper on the spine thickness. So I got about 2.9 at the back here above the heel, and then I got about 1.9 halfway down. But then as you start to go, it just starts getting a little thinner and a little thinner and a little thinner and a little thinner. So that's a classic distal taper. It just has a nice even thinning of the spine thickness as you go towards the front. This has a very nice thin tip on it. This thing will fly through product. Decent stiffness at the back. Some flex in the front because it's ground really thin. This doesn't show you how thin the edge is towards the middle and the front of the blade, but you can see it's a pretty thin edge here, but it's really thin when you get towards the front and the middle of the blade. So this has a really performance grind on it. Excellent performance. Let's see what else we got here. So again, the height's pretty tall, about 49.5 millimeters. Let's do our beauty shot. This has it doesn't really show the Damascus on the flat of the blade, but when you get to the grind, you can see the pattern on there. This has hand-engraved kanji on the right side of the blade as you'd be holding it, using it. Again, you've got your pattern there with the Damascus showing through, and the grind starts about right there. You don't feel it quite right there like boom, but it is there. It's just a real high-performance grind on this. And then here's some engraved kanji on the left side of the blade. It does have what looks to be a lacquer finish on it, so that'll wear off as you start to use it. Despite that, I had a really nice edge on this, about 7 out of 10 on my scale. So it's got nice fit and finish on it. They've polished the spine a bit. It's not really rounded a lot, but there's no sharp edge there. They've toned that down just a little. And then they've done a little bit of work on the choil. Not super polished, but they've rounded the edges just enough where it's pretty comfortable. Again, a nice 7 out of 10 on my scale edge out of the box, so it's ready to rock and roll. Balance point, the handle is oval and not octagonal. So it's oval. It is a rosewood with a black packywood ferrule, pretty standard type handle. It has nicely sealed job where it goes into the tangles into the handles. There we go. Nicely done there. Nice and smooth on the handle, real comfortable. In terms of, there's a decent gap here, the choil coming into the neck here, the curve, so you can get your finger in there and nestle your finger right there. In terms of balance point, it's ground thin, so the blade's not super heavy. With that handle, your balance point's about right there. On this particular blade, it should be pretty similar to the other ones. And then some pinch point's going to be a little in front of that, so it's just going to be a touch handle heavy with a pinch grip, but not much. It's pretty neutral. Let's see, we did that. Let's look at our cutting board profile on this guy. You can see it's got almost like a spear tip type shape to it on the blade. And so that's good, great for detail work. It's kind of aggressive looking profile to it. It's fairly curvy. The tip's fairly low, but or kind of middle low. but pretty curvy. I don't really have a hard stop or a big old flat spot anywhere, but it kind of just rolls into that heel. So it'll roll nicely into there. Not a huge chunk for, as I say, flat spot for chopping, but the back, you could do a little bit of chopping back there. I can get about right in there before the tip starts digging in, so I'd say, you know, it's not going to rock great for high stuff, but medium and small stuff, it'll rock really sweet. It's got a nice feel to it. You don't have to raise the handle so high to do a tip draw either, so it'll tip draw nice through product as well. So just good combination. It's a nice looking blade, great steel. Again, it's not stainless, but this will get a great patina as you start to use it and look really, really cool. But great product, high performance, nice fit and finish, nice looking. This is the Harukaze Aogami or Blue number 2 Mune Damascus Gyuto 210mm knife from Chef Knives to Go.